Oh boy, look what's happened to my little Vixia cam here. Um, what's happened is, let's see, we've got this as the power cord. See, it's this little U-shaped thing, and that's where the power cord's supposed to go. But I don't know if you can see from this little video here, but it is munged. I mean, if I try to put that guy in there, look, it's all wonky, all wiggly. Pops out, the little power light does not go on. It is really bad. Now it's got super glue on it because I tried a couple experiments, but basically we're going to take this guy apart. So I am going to dismantle my beloved Vixia. This is a Vixia HF R52. It's been very trusty. I've been able to do all my vids with it, but now it is not functioning. So I'm using the GoPro, and of course you're at a distance now because the GoPro is a wide angle zoom, not exactly the perfect video situation for looking at little tiny screws coming out. You gotta trust me. What I'm doing is I'm taking out 2 screws here. This, by the way, is my favorite tool in the world. This is a number 3 H12 C&L Marshall Watchcraft titanium tweezer. Where would you be without your titanium tweezer? Here, let me see. Look at that. See that? It's got a nice pointy edge, and man, if you're going to work on this small stuff, this is the device you need. So I've got these are just regular old Exi-Lite tiny screwdrivers. I've got even smaller ones for watches. I work on watches. Watch work requires a lot of holding your breath and praying the screws don't go anywhere. What I like to do is so you gotta be able to see this. Let's see. What I'm doing here is I'm grabbing the screw with the little tweezer so that it doesn't have a chance to go anywhere. Alright, and there's 3 screws on the bottom. One of the screws is right here between these two. So this is where between these 2 holes, this is where you screw in for a tripod. That's usually covered with this, which is now glued to my desk. Well, trust me, it's a little round gluey piece of plastic. There it is. Can you see it? Maybe not. Maybe not. It's a little round piece of plastic that's usually over the top of that. So you got to take that off, and better to have some better lighting here, but all right, there we go. So there's the final screw. Now with those 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the little handy carry handles off, we should be able to remove it. Oh, yep. All right. And it just comes right out. Okay, so this is our culprit right here. Take a look at that mess. All right, so that is just, so that's the back piece of this connector. Now what I tried to do previously, I tried to glue it on there with some Tenax 7, which is for styrene in it. You know, once a connector like this breaks, you're toast. So what I got to do now is I'm going to desolder that connector from this board, and I'm going to put on something almost utterly inappropriate, which is this thing. It's much more heavy duty, and then I'm going to yank off the end of this, right? And I've got the jack that goes in the jill, like so. This will be much more heavy duty, and then that little thing. Now it is in inelegant solution, But I'm not going to be wandering around Disneyland with this thing taking pictures. I'm only making videos in my garage and stuff, so I don't really care. I just want the camera to work, and there's no way it's going to work. By the way, always remove the battery before you do what I just did. So we are on some uncharted ground here, boys and girls. So I've taken this apart before, but I've never unscrewed this screw. So what I want to do is get this top piece off so I can get access to the board there. So I'm going to, trying to do it so we can all see it. And with my little video there. All right. Okay, you are out. Got to be another screw here somewhere. It's holding this top piece in. Perhaps all of these in the back. Interesting. This is gonna be a little more involved than I thought. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna remove. Let's see if you can. So what we got here are these little plastic covers, which make it look nice, but prevent your home repairman, your trusty home repairman, from getting in there. All right, so now I can see these screws. I'm going to take these out. I'm going to take those out. You got to remember which one went where. So these are kind of a flat head. Flat, shiny head, as opposed to the other ones, which are more pan head screw things. Okay, that's the dumpster. I wonder if it'll. Yeah, that's doing it all right. And then I got one here, which is a pan head. Okay, come off. Now let's see. Oh, and then I've got. Okay, I'm going to have some more trouble because I'm going to have to remove these little connectors. But let's see how far we can get before much more has to happen. I'm just yanking on it very lightly and feeling where it may still be secure. All right, I can see one thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to remove this ribbon cable. We're not going to get much farther without that. So this looks like your standard operational theory. I believe I can clip that up and that pops out. This one does not seem to have a clip, so it's entirely possible it just pulls gently out of there. We can just break it right off too, so you got to be like, that one's going to take a little more thinking, because it doesn't appear that it has the same, doesn't appear to have the same clip that this one had. Yeah, yet it would come, it does want to come out with that. I don't want to put anything sharp there, so I'm going to use the round side of the screwdriver, and I'm just going to yank it a little bit and see if it gives. It is. It's coming free. There, it's free. All right, so I've got those off. This seems to have one more connection point somewhere. There's another screw in there. Let's see if that'll come off. Oh, perhaps this is also a screw that's stopping me. You know, if I was smart. Oh, I don't have an SD card in there. I was going to say if I was smart I would remove the SD card, but I don't have one in there. All right. let's take off this. These are never going back on, by the way. They're glued, just contemporarily glued on. Oh, that's interesting. There is no screw under that. I thought I'd find a screw in there, but I didn't. That is all right. Now I'm thinking that this top piece, let's look, is there anything else that could be holding that on? Does not appear to be, but it does seem like it wants to come off. All right, I'm gonna gently fiddle with this, and you guys, I'm gonna let you go while I mess with this, because I don't want to. Well, I could break it on camera, and then we'd all have a fun laugh. But it's going to take a little finesse. Okay, what appears to be working is we're doing this together. Oh, there. That just needed a little gentle persuasion, and it came off. Now I can see the access points to this power supply input. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to desolder this bad boy and pull it out. What I believe is that there are 4 ground connections and 1 live connection. That connection in the middle, boy, I wish I had a, you know what, I'll take a microscope pick and then I'll splice that in, and you'll be able to see. So there's 4 ground connections and one hot. And what I'm going to do is I am just going to, I wonder if this will actually fit in there. Nah. I'm going to just wire that in. I'm going to green wire this in. This may actually be hanging off there, which will give me access for the rest of my life, and I'll just hot glue it. Alright, I did not film the soldering of that, but there's basically no way I could get you in there, and this is, my microscope camera is not very good. I'm going to have to upgrade the microscope camera. It's amazing I got a microscope at all at this point. So what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm going to put this top piece back on, and then we're going to give it a try, eh? So we're going to gently try to coerce all of these guys to go back where they were. So there's a clip, I see a clip there, metal clip right here that apparently goes into. Alright, now let's seat that. Now with the help of something not sharp, we'll attempt to get these ribbon cables back in their proper spot. Pencil eraser. Does the job. Alright, now this one, as we remember, gently slide them back in here, and then reset the clip. Okay. So in theory, I'm going to do a test before I get the screws in there. As you can see, I've got that through there right now. Alright, so that is no longer serving me. Oh, and it's a round cable too. Love it. Alright, so what we know is, we know that the middle, because it's listed right there, we know that this middle flat spot is positive and that's negative on the outside. So, ready? Here we go. That's off. It's a coax, so I got to get a coax to connect to that. Do that, is we strip off the outside. I've got a little wire strip here. Strip off the outside shield. I'm just gonna tie that together. Let's see if I can, so you can see. Now I'm gonna strip the inner side, and I'm gonna presume, and it's a presumption on my part, that the inner piece is positive and the outer piece is negative. I think we're pretty safe in saying that. All right, let me go get some heat shrink tubing, and I'll be right back. All right, so I've got a piece of heat shrink on there, and I'm going to put one piece on each of these ends. Alright, now on this one, the marked wire, I always wire things with the marked wire being positive. So I'm going to connect those two, and then just solder them together with a little solder. This is a little tiny tip that I used. It's probably not going to transfer a whole lot of heat to this wire here. But I should, here we go. Alright, so that's on. I'm gonna go with it. So now we've got those two down here, and then I'll slide that one up there with the hot, I gotta get the really powerful hair dryer. Yeah, what we got here is Satan's own hair dryer. This will burn your head clean off, alright. Step one. And now let's slide this bad boy up around here for step two. And there you go. One effectively hacked power cord. Alright, next we're going to test it and make sure we don't have any shorts. Okay, let's see if the inside short, the outside, no it is not. Now we'll plug this thing in. Negative to the outside, positive to the inside. Oh, I put it on volts. 5.3372. Alright, I'm good with that. I think Canon is good with that. Now what we'll do, just for grins, let's just, without putting any screws in, let's just try, let's see how badly messed up this is. Will this send up the smoke, or will it work? I'll put the battery in. All I want to see is that battery charge light come on. And it does. We have power, gentlemen and lady. Okay, we've turned off all heat sources. And now I'm going to try to carefully replace all the screws that I took out. Actually, let me take the battery out before I... So this is... Bad boy wants to go on. Okay, oh, we got one that has to go go in here, right? Yes. I believe it was a little silver one, which is this one right here. I see some dangerous crap here that I want to get rid of. So there's some frayed ends on that wire, and I don't want those things touching each other. I'm going to have to insulate that the only way I know how. The way we've insulated things since kindergarten. Hot glue. Now I know what you're saying. He's about to spooge hot glue into a sensitive electronic device. Isn't that going to screw things up? Well, I'd say most likely. The hot glue is going to act like a dielectric. It's going to turn things into capacitors that aren't supposed to be capacitors. I mean, it is an insulator, but there's no saying that at some frequency it isn't a dielectric and turns things into a capacitor. But what chance do we have? I can't. This thing is basically a dead duck without that I get power to it, and I don't have a jack of the correct make and model. I don't have anybody who can even tell me where to get one of those. So we've got these wires in there. So I'm going to put the hot glue on high temp, and I'm just going to put a dollop in there, and hope I never have to look at this again as long as I live. Just love the kindergarten nature of hot glue. Look at that. Let's get this crap all over the place. And I just want to make sure that it's on those wires, because this stuff doesn't always go where you think it has gone. So we're going to glue those guys together, and then we're going to put this thing on. And the chances of this coming off, this might actually get glued in there at some point. I think I'm just going to put a big glob of glue on this itself. Needs a little extra coercion, given these wires are kind of hanging off in the wrong spot, but that's what you got. I'm going to glue in this side too, just as a strain reliever. Love it. I just love it. And there's the result. Of course, what has happened is there's been a master reset to the Vixia system, so now it doesn't know that it has ever been turned on, so I have to reset all my settings, which bothers me not at all. Nice and tight. Yes, look at that beauty. Look at that. Now I am not going to worry about my power connection anymore. Excellent. And if I plug it in, we have power. Wherefore, before I turn her off, red light, I've got charge. Yay!